I think a bull run is certainly in the cards. The question, of course, is when.
Most people don't realize this. Most people have no idea what I'm about to show you in this video. Most people do not realize how high Bitcoin is about to go because most people don't realize how artificial the bear market is/was. Monetary manipulation, i.e. the fastest rate increase in the history of the Fed, combined with a black swan level fraud. This is the reason prices have gotten so low. IDX Chief Investment Officer explains exactly this. Listen.
Rising rates start to reprice risk assets, and all of a sudden, we're talking to a lot of institutional investors who are saying, listen, if I can get 5, 4, 5, 6% in treasury bills, why would I take any risk elsewhere? And so that's kind of the big story across macro assets. Now layer on top of that, crypto had its own crypto winter in the form of regulatory crackdowns. And we had a lot of bad actors flushed out, which ultimately is a good thing. The FTX scandal, of course, was a huge scandal unto itself. And so as investors work through that, you couple that with the regulatory overhang, and there was a lot of uncertainty kind of coming into 2023. I think the good news is that we're starting to get through some of that regulatory uncertainty. We're seeing things like spot filings from BlackRock, which are very encouraging for investors longer term. And so there's starting to be a light at the end of the tunnel.
That could spur investors, especially institutional investors, to buy back into Bitcoin.
What you fail to realize, and actually what most people fail to realize, is that Bitcoin's already in a bull market. Like the video, if you realize this. Greg Morris, founder of AltTab Capital, explains all of this. Listen to what he says as far as what's next.
I think we're in the early stages of that bull cycle now. If you look at Bitcoin's price recovery, even just this year, it's significant. And last year was all doom and gloom. This year, we're seeing the slow momentum up, and now we're seeing that sideways movement. And that sideways movement is like a springboard. The longer it moves sideways, the tighter and tighter that coil gets. And that means that when it's time to explode, it'll explode even harder than it would if that action were just consistently moving up.
So really, there are 3 reasons why Bitcoin and crypto is about to explode. Reason number 2 and reason number 3 may surprise you, because reason number 1 is BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. Listen to this. I've never heard the opportunity explained as well as this.
BlackRock is just so much bigger and so much more important than these other companies that have filed, that if BlackRock does have an ETF, you just know they're going to win. They have the resources, they have the marketing, the distribution to put new people into Bitcoin.
Now the question is, if those ETFs get approved, will it spark significant long-term gains for the cryptocurrency?
It almost certainly will. If you look at Wall Street backing right now, every single major firm is trying to do something in the Bitcoin space. And that wasn't true even a few years ago. The narrative has completely changed. And when those spot ETFs are approved, not only will that be massively significant from a narrative perspective, but also Bitcoin is inherently limited in its supply. And so when there's additional demand, and possibly massively in additional demand, and the same supply, it's only natural that the price would spike. So we are expecting this to be a major catalyst for price action in 2024.
Approval of the ETFs is about increasing participation. It's about more people having exposure to the Bitcoin asset in their portfolios through the ETF product.
Before we get to number 2, before we get to number 3, let's take 1 minute. Let me update you on one of our channel partners, Shiba Saga. If you like crypto, if you like gaming, you're going to love this project. Shiba Saga is more than a meme coin. It has utility. It offers a whole collection of games that you can play that share the same token. Shiba Crush is one of the primo games and is launching on Android and iPhone. I'm excited. Playable up to 100 levels. There will be Shiba Crush community tournaments, big prizes you can win, including just for participating. Available on Android, direct APK download link. Applications for iOS have been done. They're just waiting on iOS to approve them. Then the beta will be available on both app stores. Also, Shiba Saga is participating in buy votes. 3 projects are competing for a listing. The project with the most votes wins. They're doing marketing around this right now, so the warm-up campaign starts October 9th. Winner plus listing is on the 15th, so go vote for Shiba Saga. Go vote now. Linking these guys below. Reason number 2 why Bitcoin is about to explode is because of positive regulations, domestic and international. I feel like most people forget the SEC lost 2 major precedent-setting crypto cases in the US recently, not to mention what's going on internationally. Pay attention to the ending here.
Then another boost for crypto when Ripple got a partial win over the SEC. A judge ruled in July that the crypto firm's native XRP token is not a security in some cases. And in August, a federal court sided with digital asset manager Grayscale over the SEC in its attempt to convert its Bitcoin trust into an ETF.
We look at the price of Bitcoin following the Grayscale ruling. It immediately popped up 6% right after the ruling was announced. And this is a logical reaction to the news, but it was driven primarily by that fear of missing out. It was driven by retail consumers saying, hey, this is good news, I'm going to react to this good news. However, it then retraced and is now trading more in the zone where we would expect it to be based on historical trends and based on where we are in the current market cycle.
One other catalyst, regulatory advancements for crypto around the world.
Hong Kong has comprehensive legislation in place, so does the EU through MiCA. We have good comment papers in the UK. We're seeing that the regulators really start to work hard to bring market structure to the digital asset space. And I think Bitcoin will benefit from that as well.
This is my favorite one. Reason number 3, Bitcoin is about to explode. Most people don't realize. Us in the Altcoin Daily army, we realize this, so make sure you subscribe. But most people have no idea about this last one and will only realize it after it might already be too late for them. Do your friends and family know about this?
But one nice thing about Bitcoin is that the supply is 100% transparent. That can be modeled out for decades because we know exactly what it is. It's immutable code. And so that's why there's such this interest around halving. And we've seen that rallies coming into the halving, and we're coming up on, the next halving here, not that far off. And so we would expect that absolutely to, contribute to price in a positive fashion.
We've got the 4th Bitcoin halving coming up in the first half of next year. Traditionally, that's signaled a strong and positive run in the price.
In fact, the first ever halving in November 2012 saw the price of Bitcoin balloon by 384%, according to CC data. The market-moving event typically happens every 4 years, and it's when the reward paid out for mining Bitcoin is cut in half.